Reached the end of our journey down Deeside and arrived back here in Tarland, the birthplace of Peter Mill, the fiddle composer, and of course, near where Paul Anderson himself lives. Thank you very much for being with us on the banks of the Dee. And over my shoulder here, you can hear the music. Paul Anderson and friends are finishing today in a real Cayley fashion. So come a-wine and hist you back to Deeside.